Good afternoon, students. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Warm good afternoon to one and all present here. We cordially welcome you all for the students' presentation competition in regard with the celebration. Warm good afternoon to one and all present here. We cordially welcome you all. National Energy Conservation Day is observed on December 14 every year. The day is focused on making people aware of global warming and climate change and promote efforts towards saving energy resources. The Energy Conservation Act was implemented by the Energy Efficiency Bureau in 2001. The Bureau is a constitutional body. The Bureau is a constitutional body that works under the Government of India and helps in the development of policies and strengths and strategies to reduce the use of energy. A large number of events such as discussion, conference, debates, workshop and competitions are held all across the country to observe the day. Energy conservation is a method to reduce energy and reduce the demand of energy. Conservation energy is an important way to reduce the strain on the environment and bring down the electricity and the expenses. The energy conservation support on eco-friendly lifestyle by providing energy which saves the environment. Now, we feel privileged in introducing the competition to people, and the theme of the competition is nature-based solution for the energy conservation, green, green and climate-friendly ways to reduce global warming. Let ecosystem recover. These are the topics of the competition, and And she has 13 MPhil candidates, and she has published 13 papers. And national level, she has published 3 papers, international level 3 papers, state level 2 papers. And she has also published the UGC journals. We privilege to we feel privileged in inviting you, ma'am. Now we'll start the presentation. First, we call upon Kausalya and Vidya Shri from First Biotechnology.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. Welcome to our presentation. Today, I would like to talk to you about ecosystem restoration. Ecosystem is all the plants and animals in particular area are considered together with their surroundings. Ecosystem restoration is process of reversing the degradation of the ecosystem. Degradation means condition of something to become worse. In other words, to improve the productivity and capacity of the ecosystem for meet of the society. I would like to begin by showing the definition given by A.G. Tansley for the ecosystem. He was an English botanist and a pioneer in science of ecology. In 1935, he coined the term ecosystem and stated the system resulting from integration of all the living, non-living factor of the environment consisting of all plants, animals, microorganisms in an area functioning together with all the physical chemical factors of the environment.
Here, I'm going to deal with two main topics: aquatic ecosystem, forest ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem is an ecosystem in and surrounding a body of water. It is classified into marine ecosystem, freshwater ecosystem. So let's turn now to restoration method. Cleanup efforts are one of the most basic forms of lake conservation. Conservation means the production of natural world. As you can see on this picture, organizing groups for conservation of lakes, educating people about the ill effects of destroying the ecosystem by creating awareness. Ideally, nutrition input should be reduced or eliminated whenever possible. Only use phosphorus-free fertilizer on lawns. Lake aerations. Aeration means it is a technique commonly used in ponds, lake, and reservoir management to address low oxygen level or algal blooms.
As we said in the beginning, our next topic is forest ecosystem restoration. It is an action to reinstate ecological process which accelerate recovery of forest structure, ecological function, biodiversity level toward those type of climate forest. And next to next topic, afforestation method. To increase forest cover, planting more trees increase CO2 production and air quality. Rising bamboo plantation. Mixed plantation of minor forests produce medicinal plants. Regeneration of indigenous herbs and scraps. Bamboo helps to keep the environment clean as it is a natural air purifier. The process of natural regeneration involves renewal of the forest by means of self-sown seeds, root suckers, and copsing. Awareness creation, monitoring, evolution are the steps to improve afforestation method.
Now, I like to look at our important topic, protecting the ecosystem. Buy and use only eco-friendly products and recycle them. Grow more trees. Choose sustained farm products like vegetables, fruits, greens, and etc. Reduce the use of natural resources. Recycle the waste and reduce the amount of waste you produce. Reduce consumption of water and electricity. Reduce or eliminate the use of household chemical and pesticides. Maintain your cars and vehicles properly.
Before we finish, I would like to leave you with one final thought. Go green. It means changing of one lifestyle for the safety and benefit of the environment. Ways to go green and save green. Close the tap when not in use. Switch off the electrical gadgets when not in use. Never use plastics and replace them with biodegradable products. Always use eco-friendly and technologically helpful products.
Use ecosystem, but don't lose ecosystem. Make it sustainable.
So that bring to our end of presentation. We looked at three main topics: ecosystem, restoration.
Thank you very much for your attention. Presented by Kausalya S. and Vidyasri S. from Biotechnology Department, UG first year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kausalya and Vidyashree. It was a good presentation. Next, I call upon Priyadarshini and Veena of first BSc Biotechnology to present their screen. Veena and Priyadarshini, you can share the screen.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, it can't sharing, ma'am. Veena, can you share the screen?
If you could not share it, you just mail it to kongubiotech@gmail.com.
Ma'am, my phone is hanging.
Okay, bye. You just mail to. I have sent a mail ID. You just send your
Yes, ma'am.
PDF. Sorry,
Yes, ma'am.
PDF.
Ma'am, I had sent it, ma'am.
You people can see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Can I start, ma'am?
Yes.
Good afternoon to all. This is Priyadarshini from First BSc Biotechnology. Um, First of all, thank you for giving this chance to present our presentation. My topic is about how to recover an ecosystem, which is a crucial topic in the current world. First, enter into the presentation shall be some small intro about an ecosystem. Ecosystem means all plants and animals that lives in a particular area with their surroundings. In common, ecosystem is divided into two types, which is living or biotic components and non-living or abiotic components. In these types, for living or biotic components, it is subdivided into producers, consumers, and decomposers. And in non-living or abiotic components, it is subdivided into physical components and chemical components. This is a small intro about an ecosystem. Now, shall we enter into the presentation? The term coined by John Erber and William Jordan. Next, ecosystem. An ecosystem consists of all the organisms living in a community, as well as the biotic factors with which they interact. Ecosystems range from microsysms such as aquarium to a large area such as a lake or forest. History. Restoration ecology, which is emerged as a separate field in the which is emerged as a separate field in the late 19th century, a term coined by John Amber and William Jordan in the University of Wisconsin. However, lay people have been practicing ecological restoration or management for the thousands of years. Next, the principles for restoration. First, to identify the cause of the degradation. Next, stop abuse by reducing factors. And to reintroduce species if it is necessary. Protect area from further degradation. Degraded ecosystems. When an ecosystem is under attack as a result of natural or man-made disaster, it is termed as a degraded ecosystems. Next, causes of degradation. Unsustainable land use is a major cause of land degradation. Biodiversity loss and thus demanding concerted efforts for systematic land use planning. Sewage runoff has caused eutrophication of lakes, which is water degradation, which can lead to loss of most fish species. In lakes, phosphorus limits cyanobacterial growth more than nitrogen. This has led to the use of phosphate-free detergents. Ma'am, next slide. There's some examples, which is Bolo Cyclone. In 1970, Bolo Cyclone was a devastating tropical cyclone that struck East Pakistan. It is one of the deadliest natural disaster ever, in which 0.1 million fatalities, but now most of its degradation are overcome. Next, tsunami in 2011 in Japan is most serious calamity. It was most of about 9 to 9.8 feet. It attacks the city, suffered extreme damage, and some are how restored now by restoration techniques. Next, Quetta earthquake. In 1935, Quetta earthquake is considered as the deadliest earthquake ever. Chapel Reef, Bruce Street, and many nearby areas were ruined. It can be properly restored. Thank you. If we save trees, it will save us and save our environment. Thank you for once again, everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, student. It was a wonderful presentation. Next, I call upon Nisha and Yalni to present the screen.
Good afternoon, all. First of all, thank you for giving us the opportunity to do our presentation. We, BS Yarini and N. Nisha from the Department of Biotechnology, hereby to present our presentation on Let's Ecosystem Recover on the occasion of Energy Conservation Day. So, this slide shows the relationship between human and earth. Humans need to interact with the environment to obtain food, water, fuel, medicine, building materials, and many other things. However, along with drastic changes and development, human causes tremendous pollution and various environmental damage. The present condition is our vast and sprawling cities have pushed out nature out of sight and out of our mind. I like to say that
it is not, your presentation is not showing here.
ma'am, I'm
You have
waiting.
not presented yet. Students, if you cannot present by yourself, you just send the mail to BIOTECH Congo. So I present here, okay?
Nisha, can you present?
I can't share, ma'am.
You just mail to BIOTECH Congo. I have sent in chat. See.
Yes, ma'am.
See, student, if you cannot present and you have any network issue, you just send to the mail BIOTECH Congo. I will present your screen. Garni, that there is no content in the mail. Check the attachments.
Ma'am, I have attached, ma'am.
But I do not see anything. It is blank. Send it again. See that the attachment is uploaded properly. See, for the better, every student, all the rest of the student, you just send your PPT to me. For the male, BIOTECH Kongu. Open with it. You people can see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, all. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, all. First of all, thank you for giving us the opportunity to do our presentation. We, B.S. Yarini and N. Nisha from the Department of Biotechnology, hereby to present our presentation on Let's Ecosystem Recover on the occasion of Energy Conservation Day. The slide show our relationship with the human and the earth. Ma'am, next slide. Humans need to interact with the environment to obtain food, water, fuel, medicine, building materials, and many other things. However, along with drastic changes and development, human cause tremendous pollution and various environmental damage. The present condition is our vast and sprawling cities have pushed nature out of our sight and out of our mind. I like to say that there is no earth and us, we are one. The slide show the human impact on ecosystem, deforestation, degradation, construction, excavation, agricultural practices, nuclear program, or the direct human impact on ecosystem, ozone depletion, acid rain, greenhouse effect, and pollution, or the indirect impact of human on ecosystem. This picture show our Mother Earth then and now. It is important to know about the ecological restoration. Ecological restoration is a process of assisting the recovery of ecosystems that have been damaged, degraded, or destroyed. So it is important. Recreate your relationship with the planet.
Next, what are the policies and what are the things to be followed to recover our ecosystem? To buy and use eco-friendly product and recycle them. Growing more trees. Choose sustained farm product like greens, vegetables, and fruits. To reduce the use of natural resources such as coal, fuel, petroleum. Then recycle the waste and reduce the amount of waste products. To reduce the consumption of water and electricity to withstand water scarcity and drought. To reduce or eliminate the use of household chemicals and pesticides. Ma'am, next slide. Then, growing trees in cities would help to cut pollution dramatically. They would filter and cool the air, improving our health and reduce global warming. As a student, we should create awareness and educate about ecosystem protection among your friends and family members. Next slide, please. Repairing and replanting wetlands, creek beds like streams, forest lands, and other habitat, eradicating invasive species and replacing turf grass with native species. It is important to recover our indigenous species because they are in the stage of extinction. Next, planting rain gardens to observe rainwater running off roofs or asphalts, monitoring pond and lake habitat, and preparing report on finding to government authorities. This slide shows the diagrammatic representation of ecological succession. It is important to know what is an ecological succession. Ecological succession is the process that describes how the structure of a biological community changes over on time. In this ecological succession, having some characteristics, it is resultant of changes of abiotic and biotic factor, and it progress from simple food chain to complex food web, and then it create interdependence of plants and animals. Next slide, ma'am. What are the policies undertaken by our Indian government to save our ecosystem? Green India Mission, National Afforestation Program, National Coastal Management Program, Green Skills Development Program, and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and Project Tiger, and so on. This slide, this is the United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration from 2021 to 2030. Ma'am, next. This slide, it's do you know, by 2025, at least 3.5 billion people, nearly 50% of the world population, are projected to face water scarcity, said by International Union for Conservation of Nature. We all know that Adayar Punga is located in Chennai. It is the urban ecosystem restoration model. And then we are familiar with 3R cycle. They are reduce, reuse, and recycle. This 3R cycle is very important to recover our ecosystem. Use ecosystem, but don't lose ecosystem. Make it a sustainable. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
It was a wonderful presentation, Yarni and Nisha. Next, I call upon Nakul and Sudhagar to present your screen.
Ma'am, visible ஆகுதாங்க மேம்? Good afternoon to one all. I am Nakul from BSc Biotechnology. I am going to share my presentation with you all. I am going to deal with the how to reducing the global warming. These are the contents we talk about. First of all, we know about the introduction of global warming. Global warming is a gradually increasing in the earth temperature gradually due to the greenhouse gas caused by the carbon dioxide, CFCs, and other pollutants. Global warming is a phenomenon of a gradual increasing in a temperature near the Earth's surface. Next, causes of global warming. First thing is deforestation. Plants are the main source of oxygen. They in a carbon dioxide and releases oxygen, thereby maintaining the environmental balances. Forests are the depletant for the many domestic and commercial purpose. This can lead to an environmental imbalance, thereby giving rise to the global warming. Next thing is chlorofluorocarbon, that is CFCS, which is the excessive use of air conditioner, refrigerator, and human have been added CFCS into the environment, which affect the atmospheric ozone layer. Ozone layers are protect the earth from the harmful ultraviolet rays emitted by the sun. CFCS has lead to the ozone layer depletion, make way of ultraviolet rays, thereby increasing the temperature and global warming. And then next, we move on to the effects of global warming. Rise in temperature, climatic changes, loss of natural habits, and spread of disease. First thing is rise of temperature. Global warming has lead to an incredible increase in the earth temperature. Climatic changes. Global warming has led to change in a climatic condition. There are drought at some places and flood at some places. This climatic imbalance is a result of global warming. The loss of natural habitat. The global shift in the climate leads to the loss of habitats of several plants and animals. Spread of disease. Global warming leads to change in the pattern of heat and humidity. This has led to the movement of mosquitoes that carry and spread disease. And the next topic is reduction of global warming. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. These are the three R's. Reducing your needs to buy a new product, resulting in a smaller amount of waste. Even if you need to buy or considering a buy ecosystem friendly products. Reduce waste. Landfilling are the most contributor of methane and the greenhouse gas. When the waste is burnt, it releases toxic gases in the atmosphere, which resulting in a global warming. Reuse and recycling old items, it can be significantly reduced your carbon footprints, as it take a far less energy to reduce the old items than products item to the starch. Upcycle for the furnitures. Upcycle tables, furnitures, and the other updated items to keep landfill clean recycled materials like plates or repolishing your furniture instead of buying a new one. And the next one is replace regular instantaneous light bulbs. Uh, Light bulbs are very harmful to the earth surface. They consume less energy than ordinary bulbs and having a longer lifetime. Turn off the electrical device. Turn off an electrical device when you are moving out of couple of days or more. Unnecessary use of electronic appliances will not only save a fuels, that is core by which we get electricity, but also increasing a use of life of your gadgets. Thank you to one and all for giving this opportunity.
Yes, Nakul and Sudhagar, it was a very good presentation, and it is a kind information that people who have presented your PPT and who is going to present your PPT, please send all your PPT document to biotechkongu@gmail.com. People who have completed your PPT presentation and who are going to complete your presentation, please send your PPT presentation to biotechkongu@gmail.com. Yes. Next, Dharanish and Sri Raghav of first BSc Biotechnology can present your screen. Yes. Taranesh, Sri Raghav.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Present your screen. Could you?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I mailed to your screen.
Yes, I have to present. See, if I have to do, you just inform me, period. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You can see the screen. Can you people see the screen?
No, ma'am.
Screen share लगा Now,
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am, not this, ma'am.
Ma'am, it is mine, ma'am.
that. Now you
Yes,
can see
ma'am.
that.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon to one and all who are present in this section. First of all, I thank to my faculties to give this opportunity to me. We are going to discuss about a beginner guide to conservation of ecosystem restoration. Ma'am. Today is the World Energy Conservation Day. Small changes with huge benefits. It means a lot. Ma'am. First, we are going to see about the farmland restoration. Farmland. Over intensive use, soil erosion, excessive fertility, and pesticides are exhausting many farmlands. These are ways to restore them include reducing tillages, using more natural fertility and pest control, and growing more diverse crops, including trees. These steps can rebuild carbon stores in soils, make them more fertility so countries can feed their growing populations without using even more lands. The restoration of farmland also creates habitats for wildlife. Next is forests. Forests and trees are being cleared to feed humanity's hunger for land and resources. Restoring forest ecosystem means replanting and reducing the pressure on forest so that trees regrow naturally. Food systems are a major driver of forest loss. Reconsidering the way people grow and consume food can help reduce the pressure on forests. Degraded and discussed farmland can be ideal for forest restoration, which can also mean nurturing patches of forest and woodland in landscapes. That includes busy farms and villages. And then we see about lakes and rivers. Lakes and rivers, it's safe and abundant water has become a luxury. Freshwater ecosystems have been gradually degraded by pollutions, overfishing, and infrastructure, as well as the extraction of more and more water for irrigation, industry, and homes. Restoration means halting pollution, reduction, and treating waste, managing demand for water and fish, and reviving vegetations above and below the surfaces. And next is grasslands and savannas. Uplands and grasslands and savannas are being overgrassed and eroded, converted to agriculture, and invaded by alien species. Humans can help them rebound by clearing woody vegetations and reseeding native grasses. Lost plants and animals can be reintroduced and protected until they are established. Pastoralists and other users must have a big part in plans to manage these ecosystems sustainably. And then the mountains. Mountains. In mountain regions, clearing slopes for farming on house can trigger dangerous erosion and pollute rivers at their sources. Soaring temperatures are forcing species, ecosystem, and place to adapt or move. Humanity can counter the trend by reviving forests and restoring the protection they provide against avalanches, landslides, and floods. Farming techniques like agroforestry can be more resilient in the face of climate changes. And oceans and coasts. Oceans and coasts means that's marine. Marine ecosystems are under assault from pollution, climate change, and overexploitation. But the solutions are as common as the treats. Government and communities can make fishing and mangrove harvest more sustainable. They can properly treat sewages and other waste and stop plastic trash from entering the water. Coral reefs, mangroves, and seagrasses. Next slide, please. Peatlands. Next slide, please. Peatlands and their massive stores of carbon and water are being drained and converted for agriculture and degraded by fire. Overgrazing, pollution, and peat extraction. Avoiding dangerous climate change means holding peatlands carbon where it is wet and in the ground. At the same time, humanity must be revet and restore many degraded peatlands. For instance, by closing drainage channel to halt their emission and protect rare plants and animals. Urban areas. Urban areas. Cities and towns can seem like ecological deserts. These little rooms for vegetation, and houses, roads and factories, waste and pollution, imperial waterways, soils, and the air. But urban areas have huge protection and restoration. Mowing grass less frequently in cheaper for citizens and allows nature to thrive. Permeable sidewalk and urban wetlands protect against flooding and pollution. Contaminated industrial areas can be rehabilitated and turned into place for nature and recreation. These are the 9 ways can restore nature. First way, take time to reconnect with nature regularly. Second is create wild space in your garden or some community. Grow your own food and reduce your food waste. Fourth is eat mainly local organic plants based whole foods. And the fifth one is stop using chemicals in your home and gardens. Sixth is strive for less stuff and more expensive. Seventh way is buy from company with ethical supply chains. The eighth way is give time, skills, and or money to conservation charity. And the last way is lead by example to inspire others too. And the less plastics, more nature. Thank you. Thank you for your all attention. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Dharnesh and Shri, it was a good presentation. Next, Priyadashni of us, the BSc Physics, can present your screen. Priyadashni,
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Is my screen visible?
it is like it is only giving thank you.
Now?
Yes,
Is it
yes,
visible now?
yes, yes.
Okay. So I'd like to start off by quoting that if we destroy the ecosystem, eventually we are going to destroy ourselves. So I am Priyadashini from first year BSc Physics, is here to present a PowerPoint on the topic Let Ecosystem Recover. So before getting into the stuff for restoring the ecosystem, we need to understand some basic thing about an ecosystem. So basically, ecosystem is nothing but a place where plants, animals, and other organisms interact with each other and also with the surroundings. You know why we need to interact with each other? Because every organisms, plants, animals, and everything on the planet Earth need to depend on each other for survival. So this is why we depend on each other, we interact with each other, and this particular thing is called ecosystem. So basically, there are two types of ecosystem: terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem. So terrestrial is based upon land, and aquatic is more of water. So in that, it is subdivided into forest, grassland, desert, savanna, and in aquatic, it is subdivided into pond, lake, coastal areas, and etc. So particular ecosystem have got its own structure. Basically, there are two structure: abiotic component and biotic component. Abiotic component is nothing but the word itself suggests that abiotic non-living components like air, water, land, humidity, temperature, pH, etc. And biotic components like rest of the thing. Like we are biotic component of an ecosystem, like animals, plants, organisms. Everything comes under biotic components. And then a particular ecosystem have got certain components like productivity, decomposition, energy flow, and nutrient cycle. Productivity is basically nothing but a biomass produced by an organism in a particular ecosystem. For example, we get food from plants as well as animals. So plant is a productivity, it's a type of productivity for humans. And next level is decomposition. Decomposition is nothing but it's basically breaking down of organic compounds into smaller inorganic substances. That is, we can say it as a productivity is a productivity as an entry level for an ecosystem, and decomposition as an exit for an ecosystem. So next is energy flow. So there lies two corners in an ecosystem like productivity and decomposition. So there must be a connecting link, and that link is energy flow. So when the energy flows, obviously there would be a nutrient cycle. So nutrient cycle, it's just a link between productivity and decomposition. And this is a basic gist of an ecosystem. And next, we're gonna see about causes for disturbance in an ecosystem. So before telling about the causes, let me tell you frankly that these causes are human causes. These are caused by we humans. So firstly, habitat destruction. To tell about habitat destruction, it's nothing but destroying our own home. Like we built a home and we are destroying our own home. That is called habitat destruction. And next, deforestation and overgazing. So deforestation, as we all know, is cutting down of trees, and overgazing is gazing too much in the farmland. So these two play a role in disturbing the ecosystem. And next one is erosion of soil. So deforestation directly leads to the erosion of soil. So next, introduction of non-native species. So by introducing non-native species, we destroy the native species. So this leads to a disturbance in the nature ecosystem. And next, over harvesting of plant material. We harvest things than we require it. So we over harvest things. And next is pollution, which we do normally, daily, always. So pollution of land, water, and air. And next one is run of pesticides, fertilizers, and animal waste. So pesticides, remnant of pesticides and fertilizers from industries and home everywhere. So these are the basic causes of disturbance in an ecosystem. So we have seen the causes for disturbance, and now we need to see the solution for this disturbance that we have caused to the environment. So I'll provide you with two places. Like firstly, I'll tell about terrestrial restoration, and then I'll tell you about aquatic restoration. So in that category, I'll tell about recovering the forest. So when it comes to forest, obviously we need to do reforestation. Reforestation is nothing but planting trees and plants again. So we need to plant trees, and again, as we all know, every activist says the same thing, like plant trees. So we need to do that. And next, we need to plant native trees. In that case, particularly, we need to plant native trees because native trees are used to that particular environment. So it will be very efficient to develop the biodiversity and maintain the ecosystem. So we need to plant native trees, and we need to take actions on invasive species management, because invasive species is nothing but alien species. Alien species obviously destroy the native species. So we need to take steps in controlling the invasive species, so that we can maintain the native species in that particular forest ecosystem. And then we need to improve the soil quality, because a quality of soil is directly proportional to the efficient of the plant growth and ecosystem balance. And then next is we need to restore the groundwater level. So we have destroyed the forest, so we are going to restore it. So we need to we need to restore the water level, because it also plays a key role in developing a tree and in the whole process of maintaining an ecosystem. So we need to restore the groundwater level. And last but not the least, maintaining biodiversity. In every ecosystem, we need to maintain the biodiversity, because biodiversity plays a very, very huge role in maintaining an ecosystem, because without biodiversity we cannot without maintaining the biodiversity we cannot recover the forest. So we need to maintain the biodiversity, and this is all about recovering a forest. And next, we're gonna see about recovering oceans. So it's not different from recovering forest. It's same as we have saw in forest. So we need to grow native marine organisms, like organisms which are native to that particular environment. So we need to grow that particular native marine organisms. Next, we need to also we need to maintain marine biodiversity, because maintaining biodiversity plays a huge role in every ecosystem. So we need to do that. And as humans, we shouldn't pollute the ocean, because we are polluting the ocean. As you can see in the slides, we are polluting the ocean and swimming across carelessly. We shouldn't do stuff like that. We need to take care of the part. And next, we need to maintain marine population. Also, we need to maintain the population, because overpopulation also leads to exploitation of the ecosystem, and less population also leads to lose of biodiversity. So we need to maintain that. So we need to take necessary steps to maintain that. And next, we need to maintain the nutrient cycle in water. It plays a very huge role, because over nutrient content in the water leads to eutrophication of the algal blooms, which directly leads to loss of ecosystem balance. So we need to maintain nutrient cycle in water, which plays a very key role in recovering oceans. So this is all about recovering the oceans. And next, so far we have seen a process which can be done in a teamwork or group work, and now we're going to see about stuff which can be done individually, like everyone can do this. So generally we are going to see about individual role in restoring the ecosystem. So as we all know, we need to buy and use only eco-friendly products. I know it's really hard to use only eco-friendly products, but we need to understand the fact that our ecosystem is our own home. So to protect our home, to clean our home, to save our home, we need to do that. No matter what, we need to do that. And next, as all the environmental activists says, we need to grow more trees. So I need not to elaborate on that particular point. And next, we need to choose only sustained farm products. So we need to choose farm products which are very sustained. And next, we need to reduce the use of natural resources, because we are using natural resources far than we need. So we need to reduce the use of it. And next, we need to recycle the waste and reduce the waste. I know it's really hard to completely, we cannot stop producing waste. We obviously produce waste. We can recycle it and we can reduce it. And next, we need to reduce the consumption of water and electricity. So in future, we don't want to be like stay without having water or electricity. We don't want to be in famine. So we really need to reduce the consumption. We need to work on that process. It's really a huge role in restoring the ecosystem. And next, we need to eliminate the use of household chemicals and pesticides, which can be done easily or daily in day-to-day life. And next, we need to maintain our cars and vehicles properly in order to reduce carbon emission, because it plays a very huge role. Carbon emission is directly polluting environment, ecosystem, and the whole biome. So we need to reduce the carbon emission. We can also how we can reduce carbon emission by using bicycles for short distance travel instead of vehicles that emit a lot of carbon. And last but not the least, but it's a very important point in an individual role in restoring, it is creating awareness and educating the ecosystem protection among peer groups and people. Creating awareness is very, very important. So it really plays a huge role. We really need to create awareness and educate people as a students. Even if we can't do a rest of the process, we can create awareness. It's really important to save our ecosystem, and that is what we people have gathered here to do, to create awareness among peer groups. So creating awareness is very, very important, and it plays a huge role. And this is all about the individual role in restoring a particular ecosystem. And next, so as you all know, the magical triad, this is what we have grown listening to since childhood. It is reduce, reuse, and recycle. So it's really feasible to do. So reduce things which are hostile to our environment, our biome and ecosystem, and reuse things which are friendly to our ecosystem, and recycle things which are friendly to our ecosystem. So this is all about the magical triad, as we all know about it. And next, so I have came to the final part, which is we are all connected. So from the smallest ant to the tallest tree, from the birds roaming the skies to the fish swimming in the sea, each and every creature in the part of the biodiversity family. Let's protect our family, conserve biodiversity now. So we are all connected. So we need to save the ecosystem, not to save animals or plants or trees. We need to protect ecosystem to protect ourselves because we are part of that family. So we should remember this, and we should keep that in mind and work on protecting our ecosystem. So I request all of you to protect our ecosystem, to protect ourselves, our family, our friends. So this is all about it, and I'd like to conclude by stating that the ecosystem can adjust everything, every action that we do, but we need to remember that it have got the reaction, equal and opposite reaction to us, which is extinction of human race on earth. So to avoid that, we need to be careful about our actions. We need to be careful, we need to be conscious of what action we are doing to the ecosystem and work on that. So thank you. So thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yes, it was a very informative presentation. Thank you, Priyadarshini. Next, Darshan and Keertana from first BSc Psychology. Darshan and Keertana. Darshan and Keertana, am I audible? Is that you people are there? Okay. Okay, the next presentation is Dhanushwar from first BCA.
Good afternoon, all. Myself, I am Tanushwar. Okay, myself, Tanushwar. I am from first BCA. Actually, thanks for this opportunity to talk about this. Last night I was seeing the topics: natural-based solution for energy conservation, green climate-friendly ways to reduce global warming, and let ecosystem recover. I was so confused to which one to select because these three are so important. In nowadays, we are in search in a situation to know about these three. As I know, I felt let ecosystem recover. It's little bit so good to compare these two because when we develop our ecosystem, these two will get automatic solution. Okay, let ecosystem recover. Ecosystem. What is ecosystem? An ecosystem is defined as a committee of life forms in concurrence with non-living components interacting with each other. Ecosystem restoration. Ecosystem restoration means assisting in the recovery of ecosystems that have been degraded or destroyed, as well as conserving the ecosystems that are intact. Heal their ecosystem with richer biodiversity, yield greater benefits such as more fertile soils, bigger yields of timber and fish, and larger stores of greenhouse gases. Bad land management and good land ecosystem restoration. If you see in bad land management, deforestation, industrial agriculture, overgrazing, loss of biodiversity, and climate change from soil carbon, loss of livelihood. When we will still going in this bad land management, we are going to lose our human lives. Ecosystem restoration, erosion control, soil restoration, replacing intact ecosystem, sustainable livelihoods, revert climate change. If we from now we started to save our ecosystem, we will go through these things. Restoration can happen in many ways. For example, through actively planting or removing pressure so that nature can recover its own. And we see actually nature is basically like automatic. If it has any default, it automatically heals those things. But we are making lot of pressure. Even it restore, we are again and attacking those things with a lot of industrial and vehicles. It is not always possible or desirable to return an ecosystem to its original state. Whatever we do, we can't make it to go back to its normal state because we already overcome lot of things. So we can't even make it to go to its old state. We still need farmland and infrastructure on land that was once forest, for instance, and ecosystem like societies need to adapt the changing climate. United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration 2021 to 2023. Between now and 2030, the restoration of 350 million hectares of degraded terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem could generate $9 trillion US in ecosystem service. Restoration could also remove 13 to 26 kilotons of greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. The economic benefits of such interventions exceed 9 times the cost of investment, whereas inaction is at least 3 times more costly than ecosystem restoration. The UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration 2021-2030 prevent, halt, and reverse the degradation of ecosystem worldwide. There has never been more urgent need to restore damaged ecosystem than now. Restoration of ecosystem is fundamental and achieving the sustainable development, mainly those on climate change, poverty eradication, food security, water and biodiversity conservation. The United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration is a global effort aimed at restoring the plant and ensuring one health for people and nature. The decade unites the world behind a common goal to preventing, halting, and reversing the degradation of ecosystem worldwide. Forest, grassland, cropland, wetland, savannas, and other terrestrial to inland water ecosystem, marine and coastal ecosystem, and urban environments. All of them are in dire need of some level of protection and restoration. This incredible challenge can only be met in everyone, including member states, local governments, partners from the private sector, academia, and civil society come together to find viable lasting solution. Restoring damaged ecosystem is an efficient and cost-effective way people can work with nature to address the most pressing challenge humanity is facing today. That is the corona disease. As we know, the famous disease, COVID-19, is a global pandemic, especially in the context of the Build Back Better approach. Healthy ecosystem. As we all know, living attached with nature is a healthy ecosystem. When we are attached with nature, we didn't get any kind of disease not like nowadays. We were so healthy and so with lot of food production and water. Healthy ecosystems such as forests, mangroves, and wetlands act as a carbon sink, absorbing up to 1/3 of CO2 emission. Healthy soil can store more nutrition and produce higher quality plants, allowing the world to feed our growing population, 9 billion people expected by 2050, without cutting down more forests. Thriving ecosystems harbor a wide variety of wildlife. By protecting and restoring them, we can help save the 1 million animal and plant species currently threatened with extinction. Restoring 350 million hectares of degraded landscape by 2030 presents a boost to rural economics worth, as you know, $9 trillion in ecosystem service and contributes to alternative poverty. Restoration coastal and marine ecosystem helps to protect and bring back some of the richest biodiversity hotspots on Earth. These ecosystems also provide storm protection, fisheries, and carbon storage. Between 20 and 50% of global blue carbon ecosystem, highly productive vegetated and coastal ecosystems such as mangroves, salt marshes, and seagrass beds have already been converted or degraded, leading some analysts to conclude that restoring wetlands can offer 14% of the mitigation potential needed to limit global warming to 2 degrees Celsius. The area covered by blue carbon ecosystem is equivalent to only 1.5% of terrestrial forest cover. Yet their loss and degradation are equivalent to 8.4% of carbon dioxide emission from terrestrial deforestation because of their high carbon stocks per hectare. Restoration includes measures to create green jobs, which is one of the key elements for building really society post-COVID global pandemic. Stand together. So we need to stand together. This is not a simple thing by solving by once. We all countries need to stand together to restoration the ecosystem. Led by El Salvador and together with over 70 countries, the United Nations General Assembly (UNGA) proclaimed 2021 to 2030 as the decade of ecosystem restoration on March 1st, 2019. In its resolution, the United Nations General Assembly recalls the United Nations Environment Assembly's resolution calling for the conservation and restoration of all ecosystems. The United Nations Environment Programme (UNEP) and Food and Agricultural Organization (FAO) are tasked to lead the implementation. The United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration also aligns with Decade of Action for the Sustainable Development Goals. Meanwhile, rural communities and especially indigenous people have long been custodians of ecosystem. Securing their rights and building on their knowledge is critical for the success of restoration and for protecting a large portion of the world biodiversity. The United Nations recognized the critical role of the many initiatives already underway, led by governments, business, farmers, and citizens who want to rebuild the land and water ecosystem we all depended on. Taking this into account, a series of worldwide consultation and multiple review exercises have been held to develop a concept roadmap for the implementation of the decade. As part of this comparison process, more than 2,000 comments from member states, scientists, restoration practitioners, funding partners, youth group, and others have been received with sound evidence and shared personal stories about local restoration success. This has allowed collation of diverse set of voice and expertise to guide the development on the decade strategy. A final strategy had made at September 2020. The decade, as mentioned above, is designed to achieve existing targets defined by the Sustainable Development Goals, the Convention on Biological Diversity, and United Nations Convention to combat desertification and other global framework. Which also act as an accelerator to ongoing restoration efforts such as the Bond Challenge, which aims to restore 350 million hectares of degraded landscape by 2030, or the New York Declaration on Forests, which supports the Bond Challenge in its Goal 5. But effort to trace the success should go behind numbers. Factors that currently hinder the success of restoration effort include a lack of finance and difficulties in assessing knowledge. To successfully implement the strategy and rise up to the challenge, the decade requires support from all segments of society. Governments will need to align restoration effort with national planning process, including nationally determined contribution, and provide additional commitments and financial resources. On the other hand, implementation must be traceable and tangible down to national and subnational levels. To help with running and coordinating the United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, UNEP and the Food and Agricultural Organization of United Nations call on all countries in a position to do so to provide resources. Ecosystem restoration is a grassroots response to global challenges similar to countless initiatives across the world, from small school gardens to large-scale efforts covering millions of hectares. As the decade acts as a catalyzer and builds upon this effort, initiatives must be sensitive to local needs and context. What I want from the decade is patience, said Mauricio Nersen, a young practitioner from Peru. There's always this rush to go to scale, and the scale is good, but we also need time to try out what works and recognition that these smaller efforts are important. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, it was a good presentation. Thank you. And a kind information that people who are presenting your screen, just take 2 minutes for your explanation. Okay. Thank you. Next is Nishant of first BBACA. Nishant. Nishant. Nishant of first BBACA. Okay. Next is Devadarshini of first BCom B section.
Yes, ma'am.
You can present your screen. Please take 2 minutes.
Good afternoon to one and all. Now, I'm going to share the ways how to reduce global warming. First of all, we all know that what is meant by global warming. It's nothing but an average increase in the temperature of the earth due to increased level of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. It is a major problem that affects our environment. So, now I'm going to tell you what are the ways to reduce global warming. First one is recycling. Recycling is nothing but it is the process of converting waste materials into new materials. Why it is important? Because it reduces consumption of fresh new raw materials, reducing energy, air pollution, and water pollution. Next one is reduce waste. Now we are emitting lot of waste in factories and industries. It affects our environment. Some others are burn it, which releases the toxic gases, which are affects our environment. We should recycle the waste into useful products. It's next one is use of renewable energy sources. We all know that fossil fuels emit greenhouse gases, which affects our ecosystem and environment. We must reduce the use of fossil fuel and use alternatives like solar energy, hydel energy, wind power, biodiesel, etc. Next one is conserve water. We should conserve water because it is one of the precious resources that we use in our day-to-day life. We should use it wisely and limit our usage and save the resources for our future generation. Next one is walk and travel green. We all use vehicles and we all use vehicles which emits carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. By when we are visit places nearby, we may use a bicycle or go by walk. We may also using public transport, which also reduce the fuel consumption. There is another alternative, which is carpooling. We all know that we may call our relatives and friends and join together and go to some other places. It's also one of the way to reduce global warming and turn down the bags. We are using plastic bags, which is very playing a very great role, which affects our ecosystem. It takes more than years to decompose, which affects the fertility of the soil. Many of the people throw it on sea and river, and marine animals eat it, and it becomes a threat to their life. We should avoid the use of plastics and make some alternatives. We also avoid the use of plastic bags and use paper bags and cloth bags. And another one is plant trees. It is very important because we should plant trees. It uses is very important for our life because it cleans the air and protect biodiversity and offset carbon, and it's our duty to grow more plants and make our environment cool and green. Next one is spread awareness. It's one of the most important duty to do to our society. We should spread awareness and educate people by establishing programs, and we should help others to reduce the fossil fuels. I want to conclude that we can't change it by overnight, but we should try to reduce it. We should take little steps to make our environment cool and clean. It's our duties to safeguard our planet. Do your duty to our planet. Plant trees, save Earth. Thank you.
Yes, it was a good presentation. Then Shweta from first BCom CSE A section. Shweta, she's present. Shweta. BCom. Okay, Ilakya and Deepthi of first biochemistry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you present your screen.
Ma'am, I can't share my screen, ma'am.
You send it to biotechkung@gmail.com.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Ma'am,
asked
already shared,
everybody to
ma'am.
send it. Yes, you have already shared. What is Ilakya Shri?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is that it is audible? See, visible to you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Shall I start, ma'am?
Yes, you can.
Hi. Good afternoon. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. And I extend a really hearty word thanks to our faculties. And I here to share few words about national energy conservation. Next slide. India is celebrating the National Energy Conservation Day on December 14 to spread awareness about importance of conserving energy and for developing ways to save more energy because of the limited resources available. The Bureau of Energy Efficiency, which executed the Energy Conservation Act in 2001. Next slide. Energy conservation. The exact means of energy conservation is using less energy by avoiding the unnecessary usage of energy. Using energy efficiency is very necessary to save it for the future usage. Energy conservation should be rooted in the behavior of every human being to get more effect towards the plan of energy conservation. And how the day is celebrated. Every year, Energy Conservation Day is celebrated using a particular theme, and this year, the theme for the day is Conserve Energy, Save the Future. The day is celebrated with several events such as workshops, discussions, conference, debates, competitions that are organized and conducted by concerned departments, especially the Department of Energy and Government of India.
Ways to conserve energy at home. Switch off the lights at daytime and use lights only wherever required. When the sun is bright, say no to tube light. Ma'am, next slide, ma'am. Unplug the electrical appliances when not in use. Switch off electrical appliances before leaving the premises. Replace traditional light bulbs with LED. If there is sufficient ventilation at home, then switch off the fans. Main objective. The main objective to celebrate the National Energy Conservation Day is to drive mass awareness about the importance of energy conservation and efficiency. India is a member of the Paris Climate Accord, where it has promised to limit its carbon emission. India is in the line to meet the target of the agreement by 2022, as it is gradually becoming the leader in the solar and other renewable energy. Ma'am, next, ma'am. Energy conservation must be among the utmost priorities of humanity. Mahatma Gandhi was absolutely right when he says that the earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. This statement pretty much sums up on the importance of energy conservation. Use energy right, make future bright. Thank you. Thank you for giving this wonderful opportunity.
Yes, it was a good presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Anybody else who has to present your screen? Is that I left anybody? If so, you can say me. That's it. Shall we? Anybody there? No. Yes, you students have done a good job, and I give the session to Gangai ma'am. She's an assistant professor in biotechnology, and she'll give her valuable comments. Please, ma'am.
Okay, good evening to all. I first of all bless you all. You are all the tomorrow's citizens, I hope, and you are going to save this ecosystem. And I wish you all the great blessings for enjoying this day as a World Conservation Day, Energy Conservation Day of December 14th. You all gave very good ideas. The ideas you gave were very different. And most of you people were taking the topic, let ecosystem recover. Most probably many of you. Okay. The presentation was very good, and everyone talked about this ecosystem, and you all told that the ecosystem was discovered by John Arber. Okay. This was very common, and I hope you all know, you were aware that what ecosystem is. So we all are in this ecosystem or an habitat. So we are in the environment of biotic and abiotic factors. So both living in the sense plants, animals, all virus, bacteria, whatever the microbes, and also the humans, and all the abiotic factors are surrounded with us. So we are tightly compact in this environment. Okay, so talking about this energy, conservation of energy. So the energy, energy means, first of all, we should have a very good energy to talk or to spend our life, daily life, routine life with the happiness. So energy comes from food and all other activities. So you people are, I hope you are all the young budding scientists or good citizens. You be the people who are going to, since this is an institutional innovation council, what is this? Institutional Innovation Council, IIC. Okay, IIC. So the college has given a great opportunity like this. Okay, so to give a new creative ideas so that you can. You all discussed your own ideas, and other than the biotech and other departments like BCom and other peoples, other than the life science, told many good points also. I was very happy with that. And some of you told that small changes with huge benefits. So we have in our hands, we have to do small changes in our day-to-day life so that by the three magical words like reduce, recycle, and reuse and recycle. So we have to save our energy, the mean of switching off your lights or your gadgets, electronic gadgets, and you have to use your creativity of your brain rather than copying the Google, Wikipedia, all those things. You have to, some corner you have your talent. So you have to save your energy and you have to preserve that energy, and you have to spend that to the society or to this ecosystem. Okay, we are polluting. Surely we are polluting this ecosystem. So we have to recover. Okay, we have the full responsibility to recover. So small steps are to reduce, reuse and recycle. So whatever we should avoid using this plastic bags, and we should never use this horns and polluting all type of water, noise pollution, soil pollution. So all those is happening, and global warming. But one good thing happened during this pandemic time is that our global warming was limited. Okay, ozone layer depletion was somewhat good because we don't move outside, we don't use any vehicles. Okay, so on the time of 1 year or 1.5 years during this COVID-19, there was a very good environmental fact. So it means we, the people, are polluting this environment. So we have to take care of environment, and you have to create some awareness during this day. That's the point mainly I want to say. You have to create awareness, and you also have the role. Since you are all as good students, and you should aware other departments or other elderly peoples in the public. Okay. And finally, I wish you once again have a happy World Energy Conservation Day. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was most informative talk. Now I call upon the jury member, Anita ma'am, to give her valuable suggestions. Ma'am, please ma'am.
Yes, Yalini. Am I audible? Yalini, am I audible?
Yes ma'am, you're audible ma'am.
Yeah. As ma'am said, it is a nice organization and IIC, our IIC. And also this program, especially conservation of this nature, it is the need of the hour, and our students, and also we should feel happy and proud because we are part of it in preserving or conserving whatever we may take it as. And everybody has made a very good attempt and appreciations to the students and also the organizing team. And I being one of the members of this, I feel very happy that you have made a part of me today. Thank you and congratulations to all the participants. Winning is not the matter, but you have presented it in a very well manner. Nice. And Yalini, thank you.
Thank you so much ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you students for your presentation and your valuable information what you have given. Thank you for your patient listening and thank you. Yes, the session is over. People, you can leave.